Hello and welcome. Welcome to our second workshop this week. I'm on a live stream blitz. So welcome back if you're catching this on replay. So what do I want to say about replay peeps? Say hello. Say hello. I would love to catch up with you. Would love to reconnect. Please always know that I do check in for 24 hours after a workshop and answer all questions or get back to people. So on replay, you're not at any huge disadvantage. Ask questions, leave your goddess winks or your insights, and say hello. That would be great. Okay, in all transparency, I wanted to point out that I listed the timing wrong. I listed it as 12 p.m., 9:30 p.m. instead of a.m. So we'll see what happens today. It's actually a really good lesson in action on today's topic. So maybe it's just the universe's way of letting me live the work, hey? Okay, so today we are talking about pathways to unity consciousness and what that means for us, because that's a lofty term spread out across, the internet, and what the hell does that even mean, that we're moving to unity consciousness? And so what does that mean for us? Well, at the most fundamental level, at the base of it, there'll be more nuance on top, but at the beginning, it's about holding complexity in our body with more peace, with more capacity, right? In fact, this holding of complexity allows us more capacity. And so this pathway to unity consciousness, I'm just launching right into my teaching here today. Just gonna go for it. Okay, our pathways to unity consciousness. We're not just suddenly, miraculously from this place where the collective is, suddenly gonna leap in a snap to unity consciousness. First, we're going to have to create unity within us, right? Now, unity within us, wholeness, there's a lot of talk about how we do that. And there are many different pathways, there are different things to consider, but at the base of all of them is our ability to hold duality, to hold polarity, and to hold paradox comfortably within our body, to be able to hold multiple and sometimes seemingly opposing ideas and experiences in us and hold them as truth in some form, truth with a little t, right? Truth is actually quite a fluid, moving experience, right? But to hold both of these things, these poles, within our body comfortably at once, right? This is about really moving out of the classic conditioning of either or and moving into yes and, right? And so we're seeing this, we've been seeing this for the last few years, right? And it's often, when it rises in the collective, a huge surge of revolt, right? And we are seeing at this time it both accelerating, people choosing poles and polarity, and we're also seeing it break down, where poles and polarities are just falling over. So for example, there has been, it probably continues to be, polarity around different aspects of the pandemic, and we're not going to go into detail, right? Where people were very polarized on issues there and holding an either or camp to quite an extreme, right? Which was obviously fueled by uncertainty and fear, like a safety, right? And then on the other hand, we're also seeing the breakdown of poles and polarities and dualities, particularly in the youth coming through with all of the fluidity around gender, for example. So we can see both things happening at the same time, accelerating and breaking down. But all of this to say that's happening in the collective, we need that to happen within us too, right? And not on those specific issues, right? But as an overall pathway, we want to be able to hold complexity without our brains totally freaking out, because it's already living in our body, multiple truths and facets to the experience of the now moment, to who you be, to what you think and feel. Multiple levels of truth and opinion happening in here. It can be quite congested. And this kind of obsession we have with having to pick one path and really and hold tight to it at the cost of all else, at the exclusion, squashing whatever isn't our decided choice, is not a pathway to unity. It's not a pathway to wholeness, and it's actually a pathway to just suppressing and denying aspects of ourselves and creating pain. Right? Now, if we can hold unity within ourselves, if we can hold paradox, two seemingly opposing ideas as truth at the same time, and we're going to do this today, by the way, if we can hold that comfortably in our body, polarity, paradox, duality, there's different levels and layers for the same concept, right? If we can hold that in our body, what do we have access to? We have access to way greater peace for a start, right? We have a sense of soul freedom. We have an opening in our system, and we have a building of capacity. As our system opens, our capacity to hold more without wobble widens, right? And that means more life force, more magical energy, more creativity, more divinity, all sorts of moreness has room because we have more capacity to hold it. So not only are we holding it more peacefully, with more ground, with more stability in our systems, right? We also have greater capacity, and we want that capacity. In fact, when we don't have capacity, when our capacity shrinks and narrows, we are far less resilient. Far less. And in these periods of time, with all of the rushes and surges of ascensional energy moving, that has to move through our systems. That has to move through our cells, through our energetic bodies. And if we have very small capacity, we are really going to notice those symptoms, right? We are really going to notice surge, not only in our body, and we may feel that physically with different symptoms. We may feel that emotionally. We'll definitely feel way more roller coaster, right? When we're moving from highs to lows with big dipping shifts, right? Again, we're living in poles, right? It's because we do not have capacity, right? And we can notice it in our energetic system. We will notice it in the world mirrored around us, right? So we really, really want more capacity to hold ascensional surge more calmly, more fluidly. And one of the ways that we can build our capacity is our ability to hold paradox, to hold complexity in our bodies, right? Now, there are other ways to build our capacity. For the weavers on the call, you know that the more you weave, the more energy you build through your body, the more capacity you grow and expand. You'll know, those of you that have done it, when you're especially doing a power weave, a very generative weave, and you're raising and amplifying and stacking all of the energy moving through your body and through the space around you and back into your body. You all know the processes. As that builds and raises, you are expanding capacity to hold large volumes of energy. So that's a second way. For the weavers, I want you to really play with the somatic extensions of holding complexity in our body and weaving complexity. The non-weavers today, we're going to do that not in the weaving framework, but with the same piece. It's the same baby steps, it's the same process, but you don't need to know the full mechanics of weaving. I hope you come and do weaving. I hope, because then we can exponentially go right up through the roof with all of this. But I want to give you the somatic practices of it anyway, right? We won't be doing some of the further steps, but we're doing some of these fundamental pieces here. So what do I even mean by polarity and paradox? Let's have a quick chat about that before we launch into it all. What are some? In fact, if you're watching this right now, then I want you to think of a polarity, a duality, or a paradox, right? Seemingly opposite ideas that both have truth living within you or in the collective. Either is all, right? Because we're seeing them mirrored both ways, right? So I'll give you just a really small example for this workshop right now for me, right? So here I am getting ready to do the workshop, and I go and look at my setup with all my streaming equipment and blah blah blah, and I notice that I've accidentally put 9:30 p.m. instead of a.m. for this workshop as what I advertised. And this is 10 minutes out from the start of the workshop. So, one truth, body goes into, oh my God, no one's going to be there. Correct, probably no one's going to be there. And, oh no, what am I going to do? Panic, panic, panic. And there's another part of me, equally as truth, in my body saying, show up and teach. It's what you wanted to do, regardless of who was here. All will be well. People can do it on replay. It's all okay, right? Those two things are living or existing in that moment in my body simultaneously. Do they both have truth? Yes, right? Do I need to choose one or the other? Because in the past, we would have sort of chosen, whoa, where am I going to put my focus? I'm going to put my focus here, and I'm going to try and ignore the fact that I'm panicking, that I screwed up on setting that up, right? I'm going to just focus here. I'm going to squash and deny that. Okay, there's an example in my body. Instead, no, can I hold the complexity of both of those things being true? I don't need to deny the fact that I feel a little panicked that I screwed up, or that I feel a little disappointed that no one actually knows I'm here, that I'm frustrated or angry that Facebook isn't going to show this to anyone and it hasn't been showing my stuff to many people. Is that truth? Yes. And do I need to deny it or squash it? No. If I push it into a closet into the dark, it sits there still influencing my field because it's there. It's resonating within me. Instead, can I hold it in the light? Can I hold it and hold another pole that says, honey, you just wanted to show up and give. You wanted to show up and be of service. Are you really going to let this get you all in a tangle, right? You can still deliver this. You can still be of service. You can still give high value. Doesn't matter, right? Both have truth. Can I hold them? And when I can breathe and hold them, and I'm going to take you through how to do this today, breathe and hold this, with I did with 2 minutes to go before I went live, I open up space. I ground, get my feet back under me. If you haven't seen yesterday's workshop, you may want to go check that out, right? And then I can still show up. I don't have to deny that. It can sit there and be, right? And so can this. All is okay, right? So for you, what is a polarity, a paradox, or duality that might be moving through your experience right now, your life right now? I guarantee you have more than one. I would love to just hear some, give people ideas, everyone share. We're going to do a couple of these today to feel them. I don't want to overload you, so we're just going to do two. Here's another really powerful one, which is super important for transformational facilitators. Can we hold pain of what we're experiencing and hope that it's all going to be okay simultaneously? Right? Now, for transformational facilitators on the planet, and I work with many are seesawing right now. They're swinging from pain and despair on, oh my God, what the hell's going on, to, no, I must have hope, and I know, I have faith, there will be a way, I know we're moving in this direction, right? And the seesaw, what if instead of seesaw, we could expand capacity, not choose one in any moment, but have both present in our bodies, okay? Now, at a fundamental basis, we call this, in somatic healing work, we call this pendulating, right? When we have these two opposites in our body, let's just take for the example pain and hope, right? And we want to heal. whatever it is, right? Now, instead of just focusing only on the pain, which is often a traditional healing approach, right? We're only going to work on the pain. In our bodies, that can be somatically quite hard to process, or big would be a better word, right? And it could lead to flooding, is another somatic healing word, or overwhelm. It can just send us right up out of that window of tolerance that we talked about. It can just be too intense to only be focused on pain, right? And I'm sure everyone knows what I mean, right? We can kind of spiral in our thought process, and we can also spiral in body sensation if we're only focused here. And so a good practitioner should know that and be able to hold that differently, right? Be able to guide you to always know where the other thing in your body is. In this case, we were doing pain and hope. So you should have hope as another pole sitting here in your body. And maybe it's something else, but for this example, we've gone with pain and hope, okay? It's something that feels a bit better, right? Might not have made it all the way hope, but faith, or there may be something else sitting there. And it's important to be able to connect to that too, to tap into that as well, okay? Not only does this open up possibility and create more capacity for us, it also allows us to alchemize the two together, to have both in our bodies and allow things to transmute together, right? We can feel this and, oh, that's getting too big over here. Can you also feel this? This is truth too. Oh, yeah. And what happens if we move backwards and forwards between the two a couple times? We're going to do this today. You'll watch that we start to alchemize the two, right? And that we start to open up and create space. We get a dissolving of hard boundary, and we usually get a lot of movement and healing. Okay, so we want to be able to do that. Now we can also do that, weavers, my loves. You can also do that in the weave. You could very formally weave one aspect and weave another and mesh them in the weave. Move the threads of both energies in your body together in the weave and allow them to alchemize. And you'll be pretty amazed at what amazingly beautiful energy. This happened yesterday too. Don't know, let me have a sip. I think that's better. Is going to what energies, what are results from that weaving through. And we're going to do, not full weaving, we're going to do this bit though, all of this today in just a little bit. Okay, we'll start soon. Okay, so we want to learn to hold these things. We're going to build capacity. It is considered an art form. It's considered spiritual mastery to hold paradox in our bodies comfortably, right? In times past, that was like mastery, that we could do that. That was, the Zen monks who can hold the reality of crazy, horrible stuff happening and Zen peace at the same time, right? This is this mastery concept. And now it's required essentially of everyone, right? And we've seen that over the last few years. Our ability to find some way to hold complexity, otherwise it's so intense. And how can we possibly navigate what's moving in the world, right? It is critical, if you serve others in any capacity, to cultivate this skill set, right? You need to be able to hold complexity, your complexity, their complexity, right? Their poles, right? And not deny or squash either one of them. And most people wouldn't do that, right? But how do we do that comfortably? How do we do that with power? How do we allow that space to be a hugely healing space? Our capacity really matters that we do this. And when we do this for ourselves first, what we notice is a softening immediately when we can hold complexity, right? When we can hold both those things. Softness, self-love, compassion, greater compassion. Oh, it's okay. Both of these things are going to be with me, right? You'll notice that the natural movement is towards self-understanding, patience, and greater compassion. That also applies when we turn it outwards on the lens for our clients, right? Can we hold that space for them for self-understanding? Can we be patient? Can we not, help them, support them into not feeling wrong, or, all of those sorts of things, and have that greater compassion? Compassion is an incredibly powerful healing energy. Now, compassion done from empowered position and not pity, and there's some nuance in that, and that would be a discussion for another life, right? But holding capacity for complexity ourselves really comfortably gives us an amazing healing space to offer others. A huge, calm, grounded, capacity wide space filled with a lot of energy, right? And so you've probably heard moving out of either or and into yes and. And so can you play with that, right? Can you explore that? Okay, I just want to make sure, why do we want capacity? I think I've talked about why we want capacity. I think we're pretty clear on why we want capacity. We need to hold more energy. And by that, we want to hold ascensional energy moving through our bodies. We want to hold energy that we're cultivating as facilitators of transformation on the planet. And it doesn't matter whether you're a coach holding deep space. It doesn't matter whether you're a healer, like an energetic healer, or a physical healer, acting, being with, performing your modality with clients, right? Whatever that is, and there's a lot in that practitioner range. Doesn't matter whether you're a therapist, okay? What we need to hold is all of that energy, all of that capacity, and we want to allow more life force, more energy to flow through us more powerfully from a grounded, held position, right? And then we offer mastery in our craft. Then we offer a different energy that we can hold. And it also doesn't matter if you want to expand your capacity to do healing acts on the planet, or collective healing, or you want to facilitate amazing space in some sort of political arena, right? It doesn't have to be what we would traditionally consider a transformational facilitator. Okay, there are some weavers who most weavers adore ritual of higher service, right? Where we're doing higher service work for the collective, for a group of people on the planet, for the planet itself, all of that sort of stuff. Again, the wider your capacity to move large volumes of energy through you, which is what's cultivated in the weave, to stack and create all of the complexity in that energetic stream that you're weaving, and then gift it, and then move it out, and then create a space, whatever you're going to do with it. The wider our capacity, the more power we can have under our feet, the more fuel source we have to do what we want to do in the world, right? So it matters for those reasons, and it absolutely matters for our own ascensional evolution. If we want a little more grace and ease, if we want to be able to hold the phonetic reshaping that keeps coming in waves, personally in our lives and collectively in the world around us, without these roller coasters of massive wobble, then we must expand capacity, hold complexity. We need to move past duality, polarity, right? And be able to move towards our own internal sense of unity, right? And when we hit a tipping balance of more and more people holding complexity and unity, the tipping point happens, and then we shift into more unity consciousness as a collective. But it's got to come from each tiny spark first to hit the critical mass. I hope what I said made sense. I'm going to pause here because we're going to go into process. I'm working really hard to have this live be a little shorter today. So I'm pausing now. I want everyone to take a moment and reflect. let me know in the comments what is a duality, polarity, or paradox that you see, either moving collectively or moving within your world, right? I guarantee you'll have several moving within your internal somatic body at any given moment, right? So you will be able to find one if you think about it. If at this point you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them. I will obviously be getting back to them because now I'm kind of just doing a pre-recorded class, which feels super weird, I got to admit, but that's okay. So if you pop your questions below or your aha, your goddess wink, I would love to hear what is landing for you in this. And I'm now going to guide us through a process of actually holding complexity in our bodies so that you can have an embodied experience, how to do it, because you're probably going to want to do it over and over and over and over again, okay? Which reminds me, I do want to say that, right? These practices that I gave you yesterday and the one I'm giving you today, and I think I'm going to do a bonus pop-up one probably tomorrow or the next day because I've got some other really cool stuff that I want to teach you. The somatic experience of it, right, in our body, I talked about this briefly. The more you do a somatic practice, the more you create a pathway, an energetic conduit running within your body, right? A constellation of movement, of path for energy to flow through you. Right? Either way, doesn't matter. Sometimes our fields move this way and sometimes they move this way. So those pathways, the first time you do it, it lays down the pathway, right? And it's just there, and you get to feel the embodied experience. Now you have a pathway back to it because you've felt it in your body. It's been laid down somatically in your cells. Yay! But it's just a kind of gentle pathway. The more you do it, let's say you do it another several times, the deeper the groove or the track runs in your energetic field. The deeper the field runs, right, the deeper it becomes, the more it becomes the default slipstream that energy will move through naturally in your system, okay? So that's the energetics of this. This is why some traditions that have existed, for example, in the Wiccan tradition for centuries and centuries, have power because thousands and thousands of practitioners have used them over and over again and woven the energetic pathways and conduits into the collective, energetic collective, right? So they hold power. They hold slipstream, which gives more speed, which gives more depth, right? More energy can flow through them, through those pathways quicker and more easily. The same happens in your internal body, right? So in our energetics, we lay down pathways, right? And in our minds, we lay down neural pathways. In our physical bodies, we lay down muscle memory, right? It's all the same process that comes through. And so somatically, there's a little bit of research, and I don't think the numbers in my mind are hard and fast. I've experienced it with a bit more flow, but I'll give you the research. The research is that if you repeat the somatic action 300 times, it's like a default muscle memory, like bike riding by that point, right? Oh, I know it. And your slipstream is fast and easy. If you repeat a somatic action 3,000 times, it becomes your default way of being without thought. That's the new norm, right? And so what we do want is those repetitions so they become default slipstreams. It's how we shift our beingness, right? And I kind of diverted into a whole nother topic just before we go into process. But I want you to understand that because I'm going to take you through this now. I'm going to take you through in a gentle, slow, kind of meandering, exploratory way so that you get the feel of it a couple times and you get some experience of it. You may want to re-listen to it again and have me guide you one or two times. That's totally up to you. If anyone would like me to make this like a little, just an audio you can pop on your phone, let me know, and I will find a way to email that to people if they want it. Okay. But after a few goes, this will become quicker and faster, and you will be able to do it yourself. Right? You'll own the somatic practice, and then the somatic practice should become what we call an in the moment practice, meaning, oh, I just noticed that, or it popped into my awareness, right? And so can I now enact that practice, hold the complexity, shift state now, right? Without going and finding the recording, you can just do it, right? That's the goal. Okay, so we're going to move into process now. It feels super weird to do process without people here, but that's my fault. Okay, I'm going to do it. So take a moment now. If you haven't done yesterday's workshop, we're going to do a very quick recap of a few pieces of it. Don't worry, just follow along for now. But if you wanted to go back and look at what we did yesterday, you're welcome to after this. They're not like sequential, but I am actually building a little bit on yesterday. So this opening little bit is an abbreviated version of some of what we did yesterday. Okay, so start here taking a breath in and a breath out. And travel with your breath into the body, feeling the body respond, and exhaling out of the body. Again, noticing the breath traveling into your nose or mouth, feeling it move down into your lungs, feeling lungs expand, feeling the interplay between breath and body, right? Breath, of course, is carrying life force with it in every molecule. You're actually breathing in magic. If you have the lens to perceive that, and now that I've said that, you should all breathe in and breathe in life force, creative substance into your body. Feel your body make space for it. Feel the opening. Feel the body respond, and feel the fluid exhaling again, the giving back. Breathing in and out, noticing the cycles. Everything is cycles, from breath, your personal energy field in expansion and contraction, ascensional waves and cycles, all of it in cycles, all of it in and out. You can just sit and breathe in that awareness for a moment. There's no need to grasp or hold on. We don't need to hold our breath forever. At some point we must exhale, right? And sure enough, there is another breath waiting for us to breathe in again. Allow the fluidity of breath. Allow your breath to slow down on the exhale. Make your exhale longer, okay? And as you're exhaling out, allow yourself to relax and sink down into your pelvis, into your seat. Notice your seat on your seat. Right? Notice where you connect with another surface, and allow the weight to drop down each exhale. You may notice your shoulders drop at the same time. Allow yourself to all sort of sink down into your weight for a few moments. Drop your awareness into your pelvis. Maybe focus on breathing. When I say breathing from your pelvis, some people, anatomically speaking, are going to go, what? But imagine breathing from your pelvis, or if that feels too hard to wrap your mind around, deep in your abdomen. Okay. Do diaphragmatic breath if you want the anatomical, but breathing from deep in your pelvis, from your womb space, energetic womb space, right? This space down in our body. This is the space known as the first power center, right? It's also where we initiate a weave from. This is our center of gravity in our bodies. So allow yourself to drop down into it with the breath. Notice the quality of time is shifted just slightly as you've moved into body time. Body time is slower. Nice, long, slow exhales. And we're going to take a moment now to do a little recap from yesterday, and we're going to center in the 4 directions. Okay? So on your next in-breath, just take a moment to center into your length. Notice your weight in your pelvis and lift up and lengthen. And just notice what that feels like for you. Breathing in, connecting as we lengthen and find our center in our length. Okay. And don't feel like you need to sit still. If you need to move to find that, feel us lengthening into dignity. Feel ourselves lengthening into spirit. On your next inhale, as you breathe in, center into your width. Allow yourself to widen, your rib cage to widen on the breath, your shoulders to widen. Imagine your pelvis widening. You may want to widen by stretching out and feeling width. Nice breath in, feeling expansion into width. And as you're breathing in, remember you're breathing in life force, creative substance, divinity hanging in the air. Breathing it into your width and feeling yourself expand a little into width, into connectedness. So we have length and we have width. So bring your awareness now to your back body, back of your head, back of your neck, shoulders, down your spine, butt, backs of your thighs and calves, heels of your feet. And notice the back body sitting here and just tune into the quality of that. And breathing in. This is what it means to have your back, right? What does that even mean? Feel into that. Feel into the solidity and the holding that sits in the back body. We can connect to the back body in a myriad of ways. And as we do, feel our back body holding us up with all of our life experience, all of our history stretching back this lifetime, past lifetimes, ancestral across our lines and lineages, 3 billion years of evolutionary wisdom, all sitting, holding us up, supporting us from the back body. Take a moment leaning backwards and forwards and find center. Find potent posture. It's a Feldenkrais term, but find center here. And as you breathe in, allow yourself to move from back body through center body through to front body. Feel your depth fill out. So we have length, width, and depth. So notice the movement in all of that. Notice yourself move in all of that, finding center. Being able to center in movement is critical right now. It allows us to deal with constant change, chaos, and uncertainty from center, right? And we could do a whole exercise on that. But take a moment now just to find center by using some movement. Now, obviously, when we're weaving, we're doing a lot of movement, and we're doing it from power center, right? And you can do that here too, is find center in the movement. You can even change directions, right? And weavers, if you always weave facing one direction, I think I invite you in the weave itself to change directions. And notice, are you still centered? Have you still got the pickup with the energy? Changing directions. This is an extension that I want to really encourage weavers to do. If you're not a weaver, do it here and now in your center, just in your movement. This will expand capacity to handle uncertainty and change and stay centered. right? Because we're doing it somatically in the experience of our bodies. So we have width, we have depth, we have length, right? And so now take a moment for our fourth direction to just take a note of, in this moment, what you are a commitment for, right? I am a commitment for generosity. I am a commitment for peace. I am a commitment for service. I am a commitment to my work or my purpose. So whatever it is for you that pops into your awareness, what are you a commitment for? And feel the fierceness of, I am a commitment for this. Right? And breathe that in, that quality. Right? Find where you can connect with it a little bit in your body and just breathe it in. Breathe life force to ignite it. Weavers, again, you'll recognize that as a mini baby invoke, right? A fuel source that we're going to start to weave, right? But breathe that in and now center in it. Center in what you are a commitment for. Where does it live in your body? Where is your center here in it? And you're going to feel an expansion, an unfurling, a widening. On your next exhale, just allow your roots to go right down, anchoring you, even as you lift up into length, width, depth, centered and grounded, right? From this place, we have a power, right, that we can work with. From this place, we are centered. And so just take a moment to have a breath, focusing on the breath entering and leaving. Why? To bring us totally present to this moment. If you can be present in this moment, you're in your highest power. So now let us dive into working on holding these polarities and paradoxes. Okay, so we're going to start with a personal one, okay, for you. So I want you first to take a moment to just notice, if we move through your internal world, scanning your body, noticing where you might be feeling congestion, tension, fatigue, compression, squishedness, just moving down your body, noticing. And when you find something, just bring your awareness there and see what lives with that. Do you notice a sensation or a quality? Perhaps you notice heat or cold or numbness. Perhaps you can connect to, I'm really tired, or I'm overwhelmed, or I'm stressed, or I've got too much on my plate, or I'm worried about X, Y, or Z, right? You feel something in your body. Notice what emotion is attached to that. And just take a moment. We're not diving deep, right? But we're connecting to it. Oh, this is here. Now this exists in your field. This exists in your resonance. Trying to pretend it's not there it doesn't change the fact that this is in your field. Okay? Be real with what is. It is only through being real with what is that you can support its release, its transformation or transmutation and healing. Okay? You cannot deny, ignore, suppress, or pretend. That doesn't work. So just be with it, right? Okay. Now take a few breaths as you're being with it and just notice what it wants to say to you as you breathe, or what you notice in the feelings in your body. Just hold space for it for 5 seconds. Okay. And now I want you to move back to scanning your body, and I want you to look for a space within your body that feels in contrast to that. Perhaps it feels more okay. Perhaps it feels a bit better. Right? Perhaps it's a part in your body where it feels safe. Ah, Yes, this feels safe. Now, you may notice that this would be a very common somatic pattern in the body, that your not okayness is living in your core. And you may find okayness in your core as well, but if that feels tricky to you, try moving to your hands or your feet. Does it feel okay or in contrast there? Is there safety there? And so wherever you're finding it in your body, sit and breathe and put your awareness on that spot in your body and see what it's got to say. Notice its qualities. Perhaps it's just more spacious, there's more room, there's less congestion, there's less chatter. I don't know what it will be for you. It's your somatic body, but they're common ones. Notice. This sensation is living simultaneously with the other one in your body. There's no either or, both are present. Yes, and. Move back to your first sensation. And take a moment here. We have two poles. We're going to move between them. We're going to move between them in movement. And so this is a bit of an extension from yesterday again. Take the feeling of not okayness, the discomfort, we'll call it. Okay? Take that feeling and notice, how would your body want to stretch in its wisdom while staying connected to that? Where is the stretch? And move right into your stretch physically, whatever that looks like for you. And now soften into a release. And what's the next movement that discomfort wants to move? Perhaps it wants contraction and then release. So I want you to be moving your body, and maybe this is very common, it shifts a little. You go, well, now my body's craving that I move my head and my neck into stretch and release. Awesome. And now my body wants to move down my shoulder, and it wants to move forwards and backwards in a stretch and release. Keeping my awareness on the discomfort, breathing, and just following stretch and release, and noticing what your body wants to do with that discomfort. Breathing. Moving into our stretch again, opening space and softening and releasing into. And allow it to move a little bit around your body. That would be 100% okay. That would be very normal. Staying focused on the feelings of the discomfort and breathing. Remember, we're centered and grounded. This shouldn't be flooding or overtaking you in any way. And any point that it does, we're going to move now to our pole, right? So now bring your awareness to where you felt a sensation. Let's say it's our hands for a second. That was more comfort, that had safety in our bodies. And feel into that. Where is the stretch and the release in that? Stretch and soften. Contract, soften. Moving between these plays, and allow that to, where else does your body guide you? Perhaps it's moving up your joints, wrist or elbow. Or if you feel it in your feet, perhaps you're feeling it moving through up your legs. You're being guided by the body to stretch and release and allow for the movement, keeping our attention focused on the more comfortable feeling. Here is safety moving in my body. Here is comfort moving in my body. And how does it want to move? Perhaps it has different movements that it wants to invite your body into. Have a play, here and now. No one can see you. Explore and see what safety wants to do. And if you're never sure, stretch into the stretch, soften into the release, and play until the body picks up. Because, yes. Follow your intuition. Your body should be moving towards what feels pleasureful, even in the discomfort, right? But the movement is always moving towards pleasure or what feels good. Stretching in, softening and letting go. Play with the movement. Breathing. Once more, shift your focus back here to the discomfort. Now the discomfort may have moved, it may not have. It may have already started transmuting. Notice these two places in our bodies have a slight now energetic thread or connection between them. There's a play as we pendulate back and forth, focusing again on the discomfort and allowing movement and stretch and release. You may want to put your hand here. Okay, this is some of the self-havening healing work we do in weaving, which we'll talk about another time. We'll come to weaving, right? But stretching into the discomfort and noticing the movement that wants to have. If it comes with emotion sensation, breathing through it, allowing the movement. Okay? And when you're ready, pendulate back to the comfort position. Now I'm going to let you play here. As this is new for some of you, it's okay. Notice both are existing. And notice as we make room and space for both, that there is okayness, there is capacity. It's okay that both of these things have some truth for me. And that's okay. And that as this movement happens, we get movement in what is stuck, essentially. We create an unfurling. There is more space and peace. Breathing. Move once more between them. Just play. Notice. And maybe, this is kind of advanced, but maybe you get to the point where you go, the congestion, the stuckness, I'm putting here just because that's me today, is here, but safety's here. What happens when both of them want to express at the same time? Can that happen? Can the body move to accommodate both? Play for a second and just notice the movement. I'm not giving you any instructions on movement vocabs because I want you to lead with your body. Just the stretch and release if you're not sure. And now come to center, back to stillness. Take a moment to breathe and notice what you notice in your body. Do you notice more fluid movement? Do you notice a shift in the discomfort or the comfort? What is spread and what is moved? And just notice they might still be present. Now, depending on the intensity of it, the discomfort may have moved, right? But if you picked a bigger issue, it might not have fully transformed yet. It might not have alchemized fully. We just did that for a couple seconds seated. But if it was a smaller one, then and even if it was a larger one, you should feel a shift, a noticeable shift. Okay? And you should have more space. Now notice, I can hold both these things as truth. I don't have to discredit one or squash it or suppress it. I am a complex, infinite being, and I can hold a lot, right? Just notice. So we're going to do one more here today. This one is a more ascensional theme. I mean, the other one would have been too, just a bit more personal for you. This one is a global ascensional theme. And so we start with the fact that I am 100% divine. I am divine essence. Every cell, every molecule made up of creative substance. Energy moving through me, all from source. I am divine. And when I say that, where do you feel it, right? Which of any of your chakras light up? Right? Several, probably, right? Feel that ignition. I am 100% divine. And how does your body want to move in that expression? Notice and allow the movement. Feel the joy moving through you. Feel the truth of that. I am 100% divine. Sometimes we know that intellectually. I want you to feel it in your body. How does your body want to respond to that truth? right? And this is truth with a capital T, this sort of truth. This is law, right? I am 100% divine. Moving, breathing from that. And now find a place for I am 100% divine to settle. And I'm not going to be too prescriptive because it may be a place in your body. It may feel like a layer in your body. Just whatever it is for you is okay. All good. So allow I am 100% divine, that truth to settle in your body. Yep, I can hold that. And now I am 100% human. I am 100% human, living my life experience, being in relationship with people I love, being on the earth plane, being in all of my emotions, all of my experiences, my muddles, my confusions. They're true, they're real too. They exist. How does your humanity want to move? Now, I am 100% human, and that's okay. That is truth as well with a capital T. Move your body to I am 100% human. Just take a moment to explore 100% human. Human brings amazing sensations. Being in the world of form gives us sensations, gives us the senses, right? It's a different level of experience. And when we spirit weave, which we're not going to do right now, but when we spirit weave in a full weaving experience, and anyone who's woven knows this, and we invite higher self, or we invite divinity, or we invite a goddess into our body to weave with us, we experience the ecstatic joy that divinity has in entering human form and body and feeling heat and touch on our skin, feeling pleasure, feeling movement in form, right? So there are gifts to our 100% humanness as well. Notice that. Notice. Take a few moments here to touch the physical body in movement. How does your body want to be reminded, I am 100% human, and there are gifts in that too. And now take a moment to let that settle into the body. And notice here, you might want to stay moving, stay fluid. Notice I am 100% divine and I am 100% human are both truths in my body. A seeming paradox. How can we have 100% of both? But we can. And here is one of the fundamental spiritual paradoxes of all time. Oh, can we hold this comfortably right now in our body? Yes, you can. You're doing it. Notice it. Now your mind might be trying to go, what the hell, and wrap my head around it. It's okay. Just notice you're holding both in your bodies right now. You are holding complexity. Okay, our last thing here while we're in process is to breathe in from this space of 100% divine and 100% human, which is an amazing empowered position to be moving from. Breathe in the air around you and just feel divinity, feel life force, creative substance, magical essence hanging in the air around you. Can you sense that? Breathe it into your body, fully receiving it. And feel gratitude, because gratitude is the natural response in the body to a full receiving. When we receive fully, gratitude is the natural consequential expression in the human body. Breathe it in and feel that amazing gratitude flow through your body. Keep breathing it in because you're in infinite abundance. You could breathe in magical essence forever. It's not going to run out. It's not going to... There's tons of it hanging around, right? Breathe it in, feeling immense gratitude. And now we're going to take, this is an extension, and I'm going to explain it a little bit after process, but I want you to, on your in-breath, gather that and imagine it forming a bubble. The breathing in the magical essence of divinity itself, collecting up a little bubble of divinity, feeling the joy, the gratitude, the play. Sometimes we want to giggle when we feel this, right? Feel that, the beautiful bubble. You may even want to imagine it in your hands, touch it and play with it. We do some of this in weaving when we're weaving energy out of our bodies. Just notice it. Breathing it in one last time, and on the exhale, I want you to just breathe it out and gift it. Just let the bubble go. And there it goes. What you just did is a mini cast. You formed an energetic packet, we'll call it for lack of a better word, divinity, a beautiful gift, and you cast it into the world. Now those energetic packets will be drifting through the energetic collective, touching people with beautiful gifts, little bubbles of divinity. Okay, I could talk about that a lot more and I won't, but just know we just did a little cast there. And we just did it with a couple breaths of magic, right? Imagine if you've woven for 5 or 10 minutes and you've amplified and built that to 10,000 times what you just felt. 1,000 times, even 100 times what you just felt. A huge amount of energy, and you cast that, because that's kind of what we get up to when we weave, right? But that's a beautiful act of service that you just did from a grounded, centered, present position of being 100% human and 100% divine, being able to hold that in your bodies comfortably. Take a moment to just center one last time, feeling your capacity has grown, feeling stretch. Okay, my loves. I'm not actually taking you out and put you in any trance or anything, so we didn't do any record work or move into different dimensions. We stayed here and now to do that magical work, to do that practice. We've expanded field, we've grounded and centered. You don't need to come out of that. In fact, I would strongly encourage you, if you've finished with this live stream, when you get up and move across the room, feel yourself moving. This is an extension of somatic practice. Feel your body in space walking across the room with that expanded capacity, with that expanded ability to hold that complexity peacefully. Okay, I got this, right? And feel your capacity and your expansion in movement. You're probably going to want to do that practice more than once for many different things moving through your life, and I highly encourage you to do so. Okay, that's it for the workshop. I will obviously, given I got my timings wrong, be here definitely across the day to check in on replay. And if you have a question, please ask. I would love to hear your experience of the process. Tell me what that was like for you. And I would love for you to list out, or at least one, but if you feel like going for it, go for it, different dualities, paradoxes, or polarities that you see moving in your life, in your internal systems, or in the collective, right? And those serve as things you can do this process on, whole lists of them that you can practice on, and I invite you to do so. Okay, that's it for today. Don't think there's much else I want to say. I'm thinking about doing a pop-up workshop tomorrow or Monday with more divinity magic, with more casting, bit of spell casting work in there, just to give you another side of weaving. This is a lot of the very early stages before we do too much weaving work, but I'll have a think about what else I can give you. And if you've liked these last 2 workshops, if you've been with me before and you've thought about doing weaving, we have a circle starting Thursday. It's the first one in about 1.5 years that's publicly open. I'm super excited to be teaching the new evolved curriculum. Some of these are little pieces of it. You're getting tastes of it because I want you to know if it's going to feel good to you to do this. If you are interested, just down below comment interested and I will just PM you all the details so that you have the information you need to decide. Super simple. Or if you want to be a little bit more you want to take it off the public timeline for any reason, just PM me. Same thing. I will just send you all the information. You're willing to, I'm happy for you to ask me any questions, and you can decide if you want to step into the new weaving circle, which is going to be a magical experience. The grid is up. There are already women in the circle. I'm super excited about the direction. As always, the magic of circle is coming together, and it's just watching the synergies emerging already with the women. It's going to be epic. I've already noticed all of the women who have already signed up are already telling me they're feeling the shifts and change. They're already having energetic shift moving, lots of not unusual, but accelerated channeling experiences coming. And that happens when you step into circle, for sure. So if you want to go the whole next level and become a weaver and take this like way higher, then I invite you to just PM me. That's the best way. And just let me send you the information and you can decide from there. Okay, beautiful people. It was lovely to connect on this Saturday morning. Much love to you all, and I'll be in touch soon. Mwah.